Morning, y'all. So this is chapter 15 of the Robert Hur Classified Documents report against Joe Biden. This one has about, what is that, 13 pages, I think. I should be able to knock this one out in one. I want to get this one done because I got other documents because I even want to go through the Trump classified documents thing or whatever, the superseding indictment or whatever that is from Jack Smith. I know this stuff is kind of like old, but it's like I want to see how they treated him versus the way they treated Joe Biden because they didn't press any kind of charges for having the documents, even though I guess they can have them. They just have to turn some of them back in after their time in office. But whatever. uh, so this is like I said, chapter 15. Classified documents found at the University of Delaware. In January, February, and June 2023, FBI agents identified and recovered just over a dozen marked classified documents in Mr. Biden's Senate era papers housed at the University of Delaware. Almost all of these documents predate the Senate's establishment of rules for the tracking and handling of classified information. The evidence does not suggest that Mr. Biden willfully retained these documents. Rather, they appear to have been included in his large collection of Senate papers by mistake. And then one or whatever facts. A, Mr. Biden donated hundreds of boxes of senatorial records to the University of Delaware Library. As a senator, Mr. Biden accumulated hundreds of banker boxes of records. What in the world? During his time as vice president, his staff shipped these records on a rolling basis to the National Archives storage facility in Maryland, where they were stored for Mr. Biden as a courtesy. The Senate records consisted of his personal senatorial files, those of his staffers, and campaign materials. While the records were not supposed to include committee records, which belonged to the Senate, senators' staff commonly intermingled committee documents with their senators' personal papers. By the time Mr. Biden became vice president, the National Archives had over 2,000 boxes and 415 gigabytes of electronic data in courtesy storage for him. Within the first year of his vice presidency, Mr. Biden's staff began preparation to donate his senatorial papers at the University of Delaware. In spring 2011, Mr. Biden asked two of his former longtime Senate staffers to review his boxes in courtesy storage. These former staffers reviewed and cataloged the boxes and recommended to him which papers to donate. During the review, neither staffer expected to or did find any marked classified documents. In fall 2011, Mr. Biden formally agreed to donate his Senate papers and other records to the University of Delaware. Between 2012 and 2015, the university's Morris Library received over 2,000 boxes of Mr. Biden's senatorial papers shipped from the National Archives, the Russell Senate Office Building, and Mr. Biden's Delaware home. Upon their arrival at the University of Delaware, the boxes were placed in a secure storage area, and the materials were reviewed over time by archivists and other university staff. B, marked classified documents discovered at the Morris Library. In fall 2014, the Morris Library hired an intern to organize the Biden Senate papers, separate out documents belonging to the Foreign Relations Committee, and refile the remainder. In late 2015 or early 2016, the intern discovered among committee records one document that was marked classified. She placed a sticky note on the document indicating the number of the box in which she found it and the fact it was marked secret. In February 2023, an archivist reviewed the box the intern had flagged, discovered the marked classified documents within the box, secured the document in a vault, and reported it to FBI. Agents retrieved the document that same day. The classified document is a two-page State Department cable from 1987 marked secret concerning the NATO alliance. A classification review by the State Department determined that the document was declassified in 2012. After this discovery, and with Mr. Biden's consent, In June 2023, the FBI searched the contents of approximately 105 boxes at the Morris Library, the subset of boxes that contained Senate Foreign Relations Committee materials. Two of these boxes contain the following marked classified documents: a two-page letter to Richard G. Lugar, Committee on Foreign Relations regarding Conventional Army Forces in Europe Treaty, dated November 30 or 20th, 1991. Signature block is missing, marked secret according to the classification review. This document is currently classified as secret. A three-page document titled Summary of March 11th, 1977, Executive Meeting of Full Committee, dated March 11th, 1977, marked secret and classified committee on Foreign Relations, United States Senate. A classification review of this document is pending. A five-page document titled Mutual Balanced Force Reductions, MBFR, dated July 1977 and marked confidential. According to a classification review, this document is currently classified as confidential. A six-page staff memorandum titled National Security Interest in a Law of the Sea Treaty, March 6, 1979, hearings dated March 2nd, 1979, marked confidential and for committee use only. According to classification review, this document is currently classified as confidential. Three-page action memorandum from Senate staffer 3 to 9 senators, including Mr. Biden, was subject proposed 1980 committee budget for discussion during meeting of Democrats in S201 at 2 p.m. Wednesday, January 23rd, dated January 23rd, 1980, marked confidential. The State Department did not provide a classification determination for this document. See marked classified documents at the Biden Institute. Storage of Mr. Biden's records at the Biden Institute. In addition to the thousands of boxes of Senate papers Mr. Biden donated to the University of Delaware, there was a smaller collection of mostly Senate-era material that remained stored at the Russell Senate Office Building and the National Archives. During the vice presidency, Mr. Biden's former Senate staffers reviewed the material to help him decide what, if any, he might donate to the University of Delaware. Mr. Biden wanted to identify and keep materials that may be politically sensitive, speeches from both the Senate era and vice presidency, photographs, contact information, and personal and campaign materials. The staffers found no marked classified documents during this review. Several months after the vice presidency, in July 2017, these materials, which filled about 263 boxes, were shipped to the Biden Institute at the University of Delaware. A domestic policy think tank established in 2017, the Biden Institute was a space that Mr. Biden could use for free, where someone could continue to sort through the materials. Biden Institute reviews the boxes. In late 2018 or early 2019, the Biden Institute hired the daughter of one of Mr. Biden's personal attorneys as a part-time employee to review Mr. Biden's boxes. Over several months, she conducted what she described as a cursory review of the boxes and inventoried their contents. She did not alert anyone to the presence of classified information. When interviewed, she stated that she never saw any documents with classification markings. Several others also reviewed these materials. Former Senator and Mr. Biden's Senate Chief of Staff, Ted Kaufman, reviewed several boxes in 2019 to determine whether they contained any of his own papers. Mr. Biden's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, also reviewed some of these boxes and recalled seeing speeches and schedules. One Institute staff member recalled looking in some of the boxes and seeing framed photographs and gifts. Discovery of marked classified documents at the Biden Institute. After the discovery of classified information at the Penn Biden Center in November 2022, the Biden Institute's executive director notified Mr. Biden's personal counselor, Bob Bauer, that the Institute had done its own inventory of the boxes in its possession and believed that 4 contained VP speeches and transcripts. In January and February 2023, FBI agents searched all 263 boxes stored at the Institute and determined that one contained 7 marked classified documents dated between November 1979 and June of 1980. Mr. Biden's former Senate staffers had reviewed this box before it was sent to the Biden Institute and omitted it from the gift to the University of Delaware because the box contained campaign materials from 1978. 2 documents were marked secret and 5 documents were marked confidential. The 2 secret documents and 1 confidential document were found in a folder labeled Foreign Relations Committee. The other 4 confidential documents were in a folder labeled Europe. Below is a description of the documents recovered from the Biden Institute. A 3-page action memorandum from Senate staffer 3 to 9 senators, including Mr. Biden, was subject proposed 1980 committee budget for discussion during meeting of Democrats in S201 at 2 p.m. Wednesday, January 23rd, dated January 23rd, 1980, marked confidential. A 2-page letter to Edmund S. Muskie, Secretary of State, from Ted Kaufman and Senator Biden, dated June 4th, 1980, marked confidential. 1-page action memorandum addressed to Senators Church, Pell, and Biden with subject letter to Secretary Muskie on consultations with the allies on SALT and TNF, dated May 29th, 1980, marked confidential. 1-page action memorandum addressed to Senator Biden with subject RE letter to Secretary Muskie on consultations with the allies on SALT and TNF, May 29th, 1980, marked confidential. 3-page letter from Edmund S. Muskie, Secretary of State, to Senators Church, Pell, and Biden, dated May 30th, 1980, marked confidential. A 1-page action memorandum addressed to Senator Biden. The attached memo from Senate Staffer 4 on TNF modernization is both interesting and disturbing, from Senate Staffer 3 through Ted Kaufman, dated November 28, 1979, marked secret. And 2-page information memorandum addressed to Senate Staffer 3 from Senate Staffer 4, titled TNF Modernization and Arms Control, dated November 26, 1979, marked secret. For documents 1 through 5, the State Department could not provide a classification level in response to our request, though it noted that the details contained in some of these documents appeared to have been highly sensitive at the time that these documents were created, and included information that appeared to originate at executive branch federal agencies. According to the State Department, these documents may or may not still be sensitive today. The Senate or the State Department was unable to render an opinion as to document 6. The State Department could not provide a classification level for document 7, but advised that certain pages of this document may be classified if they had been included in an executive branch document, as the legislative branch does not have the authority to classify documents. U.S. Senate rules on handling of classified information during the time frame of the recovered documents. The documents recovered at the University of Delaware will appear to have originated from Mr. Biden's service on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Mr. Biden served on the committee from 1979 to 2009. He became ranking minority member in 1997 and chaired the committee in January 2001. From June 2001 to 2003, and again from 2007 to 2009. As a committee member, Mr. Biden had access to classified information relating to diplomatic nominees, treaties, and oversight responsibilities for the Department of State. In the mid to late 80s or 1980s, several factors led to growing concern within the Senate about the handling of classified information. Among other things, each Senate office handled classified information differently. Also, there was no central record-keeping system to track which Senate employees held a security clearance. As a result, then Minority Leader Robert Dole described the Senate's handling of classified information as a disaster waiting to happen. In response, in 1987, the Senate established the Office of Senate Security and charged it with protecting classified information in Senate offices and committees. The office's Senate Security Manual established rules for the handling of classified information, and senators could not store top secret or special access material in their personal offices. Information at lower classification levels could be stored in the senator's personal office, but only in an appropriate storage facility that the Office of Senate Security had certified. And senators could not remove classified information from approved spaces or take it home with them. In 1997, after all of the documents recovered at the University of Delaware were created, the Office of Senate Security began tracking classified information using a computerized system. Under this system, which exists to this day, each copy of a classified document coming into the office is logged and given a unique physical barcode. The system catalogs each document with an unclassified title, subject, page count, document origin, document destination, and any code words. This way, if a classified document was found in an unauthorized location, the Office of Senate Security could identify the person who's responsible for that document. Analysis. The evidence does not establish that Mr. Biden or anyone else knowingly removed or retained the classified documents found at the University of Delaware. These documents appeared to have been included in his Senate papers by mistake. First, Mr. Biden depended on staffers to maintain his Senate files, organize and pack them, transport them to the proper place of storage, and review them before they were sent to the University of Delaware. No evidence suggests he knew these classified documents were within his massive collection of Senate papers. Further, given the age of the documents, we found no evidence Mr. Biden personally viewed any of them while he was a member of the Senate. Mr. Biden sat on the committee that generated these documents, but it is entirely plausible they were handled by a staff member and that Mr. Biden never handled the documents himself before they were filed among his papers. There is also no record of Mr. Biden's review of the documents before or after he donated them to the university. As a matter of historical context, there have been numerous previous incidents in which marked classified documents have been discovered intermixed with the personal papers of former executive branch officials and members of Congress. Second, before the Senate papers arrived at the university, Mr. Biden asked two experienced staffers to review them. The staffers knew to segregate documents that were appropriate for the Morris Library gift. They did not identify any classified documents within these materials. The staffers' failure to do so is likely due in part to the small number of classified documents found within a large collection of the Senate papers. Another possible reason is that several of the documents use markings that do not clearly convey their classified nature. Some of the documents are marked confidential. While that is a valid marking for classified information, the term confidential is also used in other contexts not involving classified information. Senate staffers could have understood these to be internal committee documents or simply sensitive documents created by authors who wanted to limit the number of people who viewed them. Third, the classified documents were found in collections of papers Mr. Biden had either already donated or planned to donate after his staff removed personal and political materials. This suggests neither he nor his staff knew about or wanted to keep the small number of classified documents later found there. And then finally, none of these decades-old documents contain information so obviously sensitive that a jury would find it compelling enough to convict a former president and vice president of mishandling classified information. For these reasons, it is likely that the few classified documents found in Mr. Biden's Senate papers were there by mistake. The documents found at the University of Delaware are not a basis for criminal charges. And that's the end of that. So I'll see if I can get this other one recorded. I want to get this one knocked out because I got other stuff I want to go through. I just like going through these documents because you never know what's in there. You might find a little golden egg. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.